Alright, welcome to my next video. This is Race 3 of the MCC ProAm Karting 2022 season. Race 2 is canceled. I've already put out the video for Race 1. And this event will be held on their brand new national circuit. They have added probably about 3-4 turns, I think, out towards the back of the property, and it lengthened the track a little bit. This will be my first time out. So today, in this race, it was kind of an odd day. We had rain on the forecast. So in an effort to beat the rain and not have any issues with the event being shortened, we just shortened the schedule. We eliminated one practice and got rid of the pre-final, so we were going to have one practice, then qualifying, and then a final. So we're going out, we're getting ready to grid up for the final. The first practice for me didn't go good, got about 3 laps in. I thought this section that I'm on right now, this is the new section in the video. It's a pretty long straightaway with a kind of a sweeping left where you can't really see the hairpins until you get around to them. And then you have basically an S-curve hairpin situation right here that seemed to be somewhat of a struggle for everybody. I had watched some other videos from, I think the Ignite series had a race on this layout, and the Route 66 series, and you're watching from a distance, and other people's in-car cams looks like a piece of cake. So anyways, we're about ready to take off, and I'll get a little bit more about my pre-race woes. But right now I'm starting towards the back. We are running the LO206 Junior, the LO206 Senior, and the LO206 Masters class all together. So you have people interdispersed from different classes. I think behind me I have one Junior, and not sure about anybody else. I think everybody else besides the one Junior behind me, everybody else is Masters. The LO206 Senior class, they're 20 pounds lighter than us, so most of them qualified ahead of the Masters, and most of the Juniors qualified ahead too, because again they seem to be pretty light, and so their straightaway acceleration speeds are pretty decent. So right now we are underway. I've just kind of fallen in line. I haven't advanced or dropped any positions as far as the starting order, and I'm still trying to work out that S-curve right there. This is probably, prior to the race, I think I got a grand total of about maybe 7 or 8 laps to try to figure that last back portion out. And talking to a lot of my other, racers in the Masters class, a decent amount of them are guys I race with over at the OVKA, so it's mostly people that I already know and have already raced against. They came out on Friday and practiced, and they were still struggling with it, although they had definitely improved their times from the first few times, the first few laps that they turned on the new configuration. So I think there were some people in the Masters class that qualified in the 1 minute 9 second range, maybe low 10, something like that. I qualified at like 1 minute and 12 seconds. And I was a little bit frustrated. Now also I was having some issues figuring out what was going on with my car. When I look back on it, I think I went out on a practice set of tires that are just too worn out. And so during the practice and during the qualifying, I was struggling with keeping my rear end on the track. I also have eliminated the stabilizer bars that come off of your seat and go out to your bearing cassettes. And I thought that might have had an impact. But during the race, right now at this stage, I realized I made some serious changes. I put on a different set of tires on the back, and I lowered my pressures. And I've realized about this many laps in that I think whatever issue I had during qualifying and practice has been rectified. I'm able to go around these corners with some confidence now, where previously in both the practice and qualifying, I was getting sketched out around some of these corners. I was not confident I was going to keep it together. So, right now I'm still in the learning phase, and I'm thinking, my goal is to try to at least maybe catch up to that 46 up there. The guy in front of him, that's in my class, the next person up, I think he was running a brand new set of tires, and I wasn't too close to him in the practice. Of course I would like to catch him, but at this, when I can look forward and see that he's pulling away from me, I have to look for something realistic to achieve, and that is to try to catch, I believe it's the 46, which is in front of me. Now, I don't realize that I have the 51 right on my back, and I thought every time I came around the corners where I normally check over my shoulder to see where the competition is, I didn't see anybody. So I was focusing straight ahead. Now these corners here, I've been around these corners many times. I don't struggle with them, I don't think too much. As I mentioned, I have realized that now my tires are gripping, and I'm starting to close up a little on the 46. And, I've got positive thoughts in my head. I can go down through here now. I have to say that was a little bit bumpier than it seemed like in the past. Now, the 11 coming up behind me is one of those junior karters that had to start towards the back. I think she had some qualifying issues and ended up qualifying dead last. But she's going to be able to just blow by me once we get to the straightaway up here. And I know that's a junior driver, so I'm not going to make any effort to to try to hold her off, because it doesn't do either one of us any good. Although, with her next to me, going around this corner right here, on the left, I come off the gas just a little bit. And once, I'll talk about it here in a second, but I did have issues where I went off the track probably 2 or 3 times in just the few laps I did in qualifying and in practice. Now, right now, I don't know the 51 is close to me. I think that was the last person that I had to contend with, and now I'm just focusing on trying to catch back up to the 46. And you see when I went around that corner with the 11 next to me on the left, that's just a really bad place. It doesn't feel like it when you're driving it, but when you look at all your camera footage, when you go around that high-speed left at the end of the long straightaway and you lift a little bit, that's like 4 or 5 car lengths just almost immediately. So, if you're coming out here again, and try not to lift around that corner. So right there, I blow that corner a little bit. I come out too wide, and poof, I had no idea it was there, and the 51 ducks right under me. I come back under, and I think, maybe I'll get back past him, because he does fall behind me. But as you'll see in the upcoming laps, I'm pretty sure that he was geared. He probably had an extra tooth on his rear sprocket than I had, because I just was, he will continually pull away from me in straightaways. So we're off, and now I'm in catch-up mode right now. I'm hoping I can, run him down. I'm not 100% sure, but he may have gone out and practiced on the Friday. That was the thing, like I said, a pretty decent chunk of the class went out and practiced on Fridays, so they've got it down, at least, where I'm still, for me, coming up to this left-hander. So coming down through here, obviously you're just flat out, no big deal. Once you start to go around this left, you can't see where you finally have to brake yet, so you have to start remembering, and got to kind of work it in there just to your, what do they call it, muscle memory or whatever. But so I'm going around it a little bit apprehensively, and I'm looking for where I need to slow down and try to make that hard left. As the race wears on, I started getting used to it, but if you washed out of that groove a little bit because you were trying to go too fast around it, and like I said, a lot of people told me beforehand, don't overdrive that back portion. Once you kind of get out of the groove, it you start, the grass comes up quicker than you realize. As I mentioned, the 51, I think he was geared a little, probably a tooth less than me, because he pulls on me and almost through all these short sections. Even though I'm still able to run, close the gap on him, because I go, I do believe my kart was finally handling pretty good at the end. Once I switched those tires over and dropped my air pressures down, it just seemed to stick a whole hell of a lot better. So right there, I'm taking it kind of tight the way he did when he went around me. and I get a good run up on him, I think, right here. Oop, I accidentally hit him. Now I didn't think I was going to hit him that hard, so I was slightly worried that I'd spin him out. I didn't really want to do that. But that also cut my momentum way down, so now he's gapping me up. I think it says I still have like 5 laps left as you go into the tower right there. So, I know I have some time to catch back, and like I said, my kart handled well, and I had a little bit taller gearing, so I closed up the gap during the high-speed sections there, and just being able to roll through the corner pretty well. And again, I close back up now. Unfortunately, this is just a really bad place to try to pass down through here. With the left-right zigs, everybody takes a straight line, so nobody's used to really turning left to right or giving anybody any room. So I just had to, fall in line. And there's his gearing working out for him. It's an uphill right back there. I went through that turn at the same speed as him, and he was able to pull around. It didn't help that I kind of, didn't go through that turn so clean, but I was trying to set up for the exit, and I got a good run off, so I'm starting to pull back up on him, but he's probably going to even it out with his gearing. Let me see if I can read. Yep, so we've got 4 laps left. Time's starting to run out. In my head, I thought I was going to get by him a little quicker than this. But he really wasn't making any mistakes. He's staying in the same line and running a pretty consistent lap, so I didn't have any of those openings where somebody, loses their stuff and blows the line tremendously. He did a pretty decent job. The only time he was kind of slow was, a lap or two ago where I ran into his back bumper. But, he was in the position. I couldn't capitalize on that little slowdown. So really, the only places that I'm thinking that I might be able to get around him is I've got to set up for that last turn for the long hairpin, or for the long straightaway. And that's about it. If I can maybe duck under him around one of these curves, if he ever gives me the opportunity. But he's doing a good job of staying tight on everything. But all in all, the track again is still pretty fun. We have a race coming up on the same configuration. As I mentioned, it's called the National Circuit. They still have their legacy circuit, and then they have a short version of each one of those where they eliminate a turn or two. And the thing is, the first race of the season here, I finished 4th, so, standings-wise, I'm not too bad. I was hoping to do a little better, but with everything being shortened, I just realized, this is just basically going to be a big practice session. I did end up getting down into the minute 11s. I think if I'd have gone out with a 1 tooth less or 1 tooth more on the back end, I probably could have done a bit better. So I get a good run right here. And this is stuff that like right now, I got kind of ran. I thought in my head I kind of got ran in the grass right there. I was up fairly close on his side, and I'm pretty sure that I would have noticed somebody there next to me. And now we're down to, I think, I don't know if this is the last lap or the second to the last lap. But that was one of my opportunities, and I think I might have gone in the grass a little bit earlier. I don't remember. I realized that cutting through the grass isn't going to help. I've been in other tracks where, cutting a corner in the grass like that doesn't do anything bad, doesn't slow you down, but that definitely took my momentum away, and I was not able to keep my momentum going and affect the pass. So this isn't the last lap. I know I was a little bit closer coming up for the last lap. And, I think I'm getting that S turn down a little bit. Like I mentioned, I got in the 111s, The winners were in the 109, so I still have a substantial amount of time to make up. But driving around the track, I know that the time is there to be made up. It's not one of those instances where I'm sitting there going, I'm going as fast as I can. There's no way I can go any faster. I definitely know some places, and especially in that back section where I have room for improvement. And I really think a gearing change might have helped out. So here we are. It's all coming down to this last lap. You're watching. Tell me what you think about that grass situation back there. And we'll see how this plays out. We're coming around. I'm pretty tight. He actually didn't totally kill me with his gearing right there, but I wasn't able to get up next to him to try to cut under him. And he takes it pretty tight, as you can see. He's not coming out of that low groove. So I have to swing out to try to make this run again. And let's see what happens again here. Oh, am I going to get in the push in the grass? Oh, yeah, right in the grass again. So I wasn't super psyched about that. I don't know. It's one of those racing things. Just falling behind the 51. I notice he doesn't actually turn and look left or right too often. So, I wonder sometimes if that's, that can give you plausible deniability for knowing if someone's next to you if you don't turn your head left and right. But, he held on to it. Nobody got wrecked, so that's all good. I'll just be better prepared for that the next time. And that's it. I don't know where I finished. It wasn't good. I think I only had about 3 people behind me in the Masters class, and we had 11 people, so I probably finished, sounds like I finished 8th. So not a good points day for me for this series, but I did get my woes figured out. I'm pretty positive I won't be throwing that one set of tires back on again, and hoping to get a couple better. Got to run on the used, so I'm hoping to get a few sets of used tires before the next MCC race, number 4, which is coming up in a couple of weekends. So, throw in some comments if you like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. I do think I'm going to head on out to Newcastle next weekend on September 3rd and do one of their they've got a night race. So, hey, come on out. And I'm trying to get prepped up because I still want to do the Grands at the end of September, and that'll just be a little more experience I get at their track. So that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one.